I'm Kathy Fisher, President of Quistum. I'd like to share with you a simplified model for understanding your organization's management systems and the different processes that make up your business management systems as well. I think you would all agree with me, every organization is in business to make money. And the way that we make money in our business is by providing products and services. And in order for those products and services to lead to money, they have to be meeting our customer requirements. Now, when I consider the transformation of customer requirements into products and services that make money for an organization, I like to refer to these activities as our money-making processes in our business. Now, each organization's money-making processes are going to be unique. Even your competition has a different way of expressing these money-making processes relative to how they do business. But just to give you an idea, the types of activities that are oftentimes involved in the money-making process include getting a request for quote from customers, getting an order from the customers. You may be involved in some type of a product development activity. There's usually a launch that's involved. There's usually provision of either the product or service, as well as some type of delivery activity. And in order to get money, we definitely need to be invoicing and taking care of the accounting end of the business as well. So, when we look at this money-making model, we may want to ask ourselves, how do we decide what products and services we're going to provide and which markets we're going to provide that to? And that's really the basis for any organization's description of their money-making model. And so let's think about these markets and customer requirements that are out there that we can fulfill through our organization's money-making process. And these are the basis for your business plan within your organization. Now, the top management of your business is oftentimes responsible for determining what markets we're going to be serving, what products and services we're going to be providing, as well as establishing the goals for the organization around making money. However, for this model to work, we need some resources. So the next part of the processes that make up your organization are these resource processes. And the resources are oftentimes determined as a result of budgeting, annual operating plans around the organization's business plan. And these resources are specifically to support our organization's money-making processes. Now, there's 5 different categories of resources that I focus on: man, material, machines, methods, and what I refer to as Mother Nature. Some may think about this as the work environment. There's some other words for that. You might feel that this is a little bit focused towards a manufacturing environment, but you can apply these same 5 M's even in a service delivery situation. Now, an organization's resources, as I mentioned, are derived from the business plan, so therefore top management is the primary party responsible for determining what resources are necessary in order to support the organization's money-making process. At this point, your business can go about providing products and services and hopefully making money. But the question always comes up, how do we know how we're doing? And the best way to find that out is by asking the customers. So as we look towards customer feedback, this is one way, and a very important way, no doubt, in order to understand how well our organization's plans are working. But there's 2 problems with customer feedback. The first is that oftentimes we don't always get that feedback. In fact, some will say typically the only feedback we get is negative feedback. The other problem with customer feedback is that it's usually too late. When we consider the time cycle involved in fulfilling our customers' requirements and the customer actually experiencing our products or services, it could be days, months, years before we get that feedback, yet our business is still continuing. So we need real-time mechanisms of evaluation within our business in order to know how well our plans are working. And those mechanisms of evaluation need to give us information about effectiveness of our money-making process. In other words, how well are the things we're doing in that transformation of customer requirements to products and services actually making the organization money and fulfilling requirements. But then another piece of the money puzzle is about efficiency. How well we're using these resources in support of satisfying our customers' requirements. So in essence, this group of processes that we call evaluation activities are top management's real-time feedback loop regarding how well their plans are working. And this can include everything from product inspection and test to process monitoring to even audit. So evaluation gives us data to better understand how well our plan is working. Now, hopefully we're using that data to drive improvement in our organization. When I think about the word improvement, I think it's synonymous with change, because you really can't improve anything without changing something. So this evaluation processes generate the data that help us understand what and where to improve our organization's processes. Now, there's two different types of improvement that take place in most businesses. There's ongoing incremental improvements that are happening every day within our money-making operations that ensure that our customers' requirements are being met. I call them little course corrections. Then there's also larger scale changes that are taking place. It's called as strategic breakthroughs. And these are going to be major shifts in your organization that are resulting from new products, new markets you're serving, technology changes, maybe even the competition. These strategic breakthroughs often involve multiple processes and functions within your organization, so they're a little bit more complicated to implement. Now, when we think about these improvement processes, who do you think is responsible for taking care of those in terms of prioritizing and making sure improvements taking place? Once again, it's going to be top management. And the primary reason that top management holds that responsibility for prioritizing improvement and change is that we require resources in order to make these improvements. And of course, there's limited resources in any organization, so it's up to management to prioritize how we're going to use those resources that they've identified. Now, when you consider this overall model that I've just drawn out for you here, I know it is quite complicated at first glance, but we can break it down to something that we're all very familiar with, back from the Deming cycle of plan, do, check, and act. And very readily we can see that your organization's management system embodies these groups of processes around planning, implementing, evaluating, and driving improvement in your organization. One of the other things you'll notice about this model is that it is a closed loop system, which means all of the processes are somehow interrelated with each other. This is just a top level glance. Believe me, the complexity of the interrelations go far beyond what we could draw on one whiteboard. The other key thing to notice is that this model is driven by requirements. In this case, the market customer requirements, including the feedback from the customer. Now, I've drawn this model today more from the standpoint of meeting your customers' requirements for your products and services. We might say that's a quality management system model. But please keep in mind that this same framework applies when you think about other types of management systems that your organization is trying to fulfill. And this can include, as an example, occupational health and safety in your business. So instead of market customer requirements, here you may be looking at OSHA regulations and other expectations around maintaining a safe work environment. And then, of course, the feedback is going to be from the people working inside your organization, as well as different audit mechanisms. The other thing that changes when we look at this model relative to other types of requirements and the organization's business processes is that the money-making processes are actually going to be transformed into what we call control and compliance activities. So we embed directly into our money-making processes how we're going to ensure that these other stakeholder requirements are being met, and that feedback from those stakeholders is also being embedded into our money-making activities on a daily basis. So you can use this same exact model. The business plan, resources, evaluation, improvement activities are common to any management system, the quality management system, occupational health and safety environment, you name it. And we focus on the changes that we need to make in terms of our money-making processes unique to our business. So, take a look at this model as it relates to how your organization is doing business, and start thinking about what are those essential processes in the outer ring that support how you make money. Thank you.